Welcome back to Eternal Sonata, and now it's time to meet our villain, starting with the second chapter, Revolution. Well, revolution more like, but...
Vive la
Oh, you
revolution!
die, la resistance lives
we hand
on.
over to Forte Castle, a room which, by the way, the party will never enter into. Spoilers, sorry. We just created it only for the cutscenes. And we see our main villain, the Count, which was foreshadowed.
Let me guess, spoiled rich kid who just happened to get his
Liam.
range. Wait, that's Liam O'Brien? Oh yeah, that's
Yes,
right, the guy
and
has
he's
some range.
amazing in his particular tone.
Still, my lord, we've received reports of...
And this is Legato, basically his butler first servant. His name is a pun because it means that Legato means very close to. Yeah. No, in terms of musical, yes, but the literal word Jova means being attached to, tied to, which represents Legato being very close to Waltz. Now we're discussing the fact that the Andantino revolution, basically terrorists, are causing havoc all over Forte, and what the reason might be and who's backing them up.
Oh, there's a revolution going on.
But unfortunately, oh no, sorry.
Anyone.
Sorry, I forgot. Just coming up in a second.
Why do you think that is?
But unfortunately, we need to break for another trivia about.
Really? That was abrupt? Then again, I don't recall the last part of
This
it,
is
so
one of
maybe
his
that's
most
to do with
famous compositions, the Revolutionary Etude.
Huh, fitting name.
Yep, each chapter is tied to that particular piece. On November 29th, 1830, an insurrection occurred in Warsaw, the capital of Poland. It was the November Uprising. Basically, if you don't know the history, Poland is a very unlucky country that has been invaded constantly by everyone. At the time, most of Poland, in this case, was Russian territory, and the desire for independence had been growing, obviously. About 4 weeks before the revolution, on November 2nd, Chopin left the increasingly dangerous Warsaw and headed for Vienna, the capital of Austria, if you don't know. It is said that Chopin's friends encouraged him to leave the country because they knew the rebellion was certain. So obviously, Chopin was a very frail person, so it wasn't suited for fight.
For his entire
but Chopin
life,
was unaware of
Jesus.
this, and his trip had been planned many months in advance. Go ahead, Jova.
Wow, so he's frail for his entire life? Jeez.
Yeah, Chopin was unusually talented, but he was also physically weak. It was just a bad constitution, Jova, sadly. That's why the tuberculosis ultimately won over him. So his friends wanted him to use his piano as a weapon to fight for Poland, basically propaganda. On November 23rd, approximately 20 days later, Chopin arrived in Vienna. I think this was around the time Princess was elected? I don't remember. And 6 days after that, the insurrection in Warsaw started. It went on for almost a year. Then on September 8th, 1831, Warsaw fell. 10 months of fighting and ended in defeat. Basically a pointless bloodshed, just like basically almost all wars. Chopin, then aged 21, learned of the insurrection failure while in Stuttgart, Germany. The feelings with which he played the piano at this time take the form of his composition, the Revolutionary Etude. To Chopin, who genuinely loved his homeland of Poland, the insurrection's failure was difficult to bear.
Ooh, yeah. I can imagine it would be.
But perhaps he found it even more difficult to bear the fact that he was safe in a foreign country.
Oh.
Not only that,
Survivor's
Chopin
guilt.
will never set. That's the worst part. Chopin will never set foot in his native land again for like at least 20 years. That's if you have a hinge of patriotism, that's a harsh thing.
Didn't you hear me?
Wow, back to this.
I asked you a question. Why does Andantino continue to fight?
Well,
That's the thing. There are small revolutionary movements, so Why?
Don't know the answer. It's because someone else is backing them.
He just
They are
teleported in front of
The
him.
reason they haven't stopped fighting.
So there you
is
go.
because
That's
they
the
think they
Volts
actually have a
Volts is
chance to
very
win.
genre savvy, and in this case, he's thinking that they have the back of someone more important behind them. Basically, there's some interest behind this revolution. It's not just a simple movement spark from baseless, well, not baseless, but simple patriotism. Again, in case you were wondering who was the villain. But anyway, let's
It's so subtle.
let's reprise our direction of our group as after the Agogo Forest, we end in this plane, the we're about to get the Chorus plane. There you go. Don't be fooled by the appearance; it's less open than it may look. Once again, the levels are very linear when it comes to it. Anyway, there's a sheet of
There's
paper.
a piece of paper here. You're supposed to put trash in a trash can.
But there are no around, so let's just move on. Anyway, the enemies in this place are mostly goats. Sorry, Shiroi, no ships around, but I guess this is the closest you will get.
Well,
But they're not just normal goats, they're goats with wings. No idea.
lovely.
Anyway, let's just please keep moving forward because, again... oh, and look at that, there's someone on the bridge. Hello.
What?
Free goats.
What are goats doing in a place like this?
I
You're gonna
don't
play.
know.
Couldn't you do it somewhere else?
Yeah, I agree.
Go ahead, Pedro, might as well.
Please, Mr. God, we're trying to get to the other side of the bridge. Do you think you could let us pass by?
It appears futile. He doesn't seem to have the slightest intention of moving. No shit. Fucking...
I know.
What?
You know what?
You have to use food in a situation like this. Everybody knows that animals always listen to people who give them food.
Oh boy, we need to get 5-star food.
You think?
I mean, they're not wrong.
It's true. This one in Retardando, I gave a seagull some breadcrumbs, and it brought me my hat that was stuck in a tree.
Two.
Well, I suppose we've got nothing to lose. We might as well look for something they can eat.
Teo, it
Yes,
just occurred to me. Beat grows up to be Fang.
Not only that, hold on, we're seriously reasoning with what a 10-year-old said.
So you're
and not just
telling me that...
we're giving paper to goats.
Well, goats eat anything, so that's probably...
Have you
I know.
ever have?
Actually, no, Shiroi. The stereotype I know is that goats prefer salt, not paper.
Goats
Well,
bring...
it's not so much the stereotype. Have you ever been to a farm and fed a goat? They'll eat everything, including the bag in your hand.
Exactly.
Extreme omnivorism. Yeah, the point being, the paper when we found, the sheet of paper when we found are useful for the goats. There are 3 around, one for each goat. Basically, get all 3 of them and then get to the goats. Easy. I don't even know why they put this roadblock here.
It's easy as counting sheep.
Yeah, it's not even that useful. The only payoff that you get is that later on, yeah, might as well show a bit of goat fighting. The only payoff that you get is that in the next screen, I didn't found it, but might as well tell you. There's a postman that said that he has lost 3 letters, so basically now you're feeding goats the letters to someone else. Whoop-de-doo.
So
There
those
we
goats
go.
already dead?
Remember, a specific save file for boosting purposes. Don't worry, Jova. The sponge enemies later on will make,
I wasn't asking in that sense. I'm talking about the fact that the goats literally have halos and wings, like they're already
Oh,
dead.
right. Are they supposed to represent angelic monsters, I guess?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's give the paper to these ones. We'll also meet the owner of these particular goats in a second.
I guess goats really do eat paper.
No comment.
Well, technically, I think they do, don't they?
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's like
like
here,
we
it says
said,
supposedly
goats eat
they eat
everything.
anything, but Jesus.
It's like whenever I've fed goats, they tried to take not only the feed, but the feed bag as well, so, you
And
know,
your
it's just...
hand, possibly.
Yes, usually.
And there we go.
There's
Come on, Mr. Goat. Won't you pretty please let us pass by?
Oh yeah, Mr. Goat.
Okay, thanks, I guess. King Ram is very ashamed of his situation.
He and
The troll.
Finally, we can get going.
and Mickey from Mickey Manu.
See, Riddle? It's just like I told you. Animals listen to you if you give them something to eat.
Arguable.
All right, you win. I guess I'll have to start listening to whatever you say, Beat. Wait, you haven't before?
Gee, I have to actually listen to this.
Not just that. Not just that. Once again, not just that. Once again, Allegretto is a bit of a dick against Beat.
Again, again. I say the same. I say the same thing I said of. Well, actually, technically, I didn't say it in that way, but never mind. I'm not going to count this as a point for the game exploring bipolar disorder, because as far as I can tell, this is just inconsistent. Because some people might try to argue, Jova, that this is the game trying to do the bipolar disorder thing.
No, I really... Wait. That wouldn't make a good sense, because if anything, it's just more so the bout of... It's more like a brotherly relationship, you know, where you act like the younger sibling is an annoyance, but truly deep down you like the sibling. I mean, I don't really see anything that would suggest bipolarness, and...
I don't know, Jova. I've had a brother from being super...
What's that? The clip from Deadpool 2? Or maybe that's just bad, right?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jova, we can
Yes.
hear you. Anyway, let's just move on. Yeah, don't worry. The dialogue with the dead goat owner was pointless anyway.
Well, I mean, it's extra flavor, and you know, that's kind of one thing this game could use all the more of.
I do speak with NPCs, but these are situations where if you're just talking over something already, it's not that important.
Oh, I know that.
Don't worry,
I know
Joey.
that.
Something important comes around, I'll tell. The other major enemies in this area does not complement the situation you're in, because you get these little spaces where these people run around with goats, and you have these 10-foot dragons roaming around. It's like, what the hell?
Not to mention, Jova, that's just the thing. The game's made by these people. Well, I know that it wasn't made by the Tales Studio, but some people from the Tales Studio did work on this. The games made by these people tend to have pretty run-of-the-mill NPCs that don't really have anything all that interesting to say anyway.
Sadly.
Wait, hold on. What's this about? All I just said is that it's extra flavor.
I know, I'm just saying, I'm just adding to what Theo said about the point of not being that important.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I just like to read
No, but also Jova said the extra flavor being...
Oh, sure.
It's the having something different, but welcome to Corneria, welcome to Corneria.
Corneria. Basically, Shiroi, in Final Fantasy 1, the very first NPCs you find are the two gatekeepers who are guarding the first area. And all they say when you talk to them is, welcome to Corneria. So basically, it created this kind of meme amongst Final Fantasy area.
By the way, any hiccups that you may see is sadly my Elgato, so
don't you dare hurt the goats. They're innocent creatures.
This is Viola, the goat basically.
Viola.
So, let me check who voice is there.
For those who don't know, Viola.
Actually, it's tied. It's one of the. It's a type of violin, not just.
Well, yeah, type of. Yeah.
It also is the name of a flower, but I'm sure it's not that what the developers had in mind.
Well, I can't speak for the use of the word outside of my country, but here in my country, even when we have just a typical acoustic guitar, we can also call it viola. It's just it kind of tends to have the same meaning in my country, basically.
What was with those guys anyway? They were weird.
Anyway, viola is voiced by Megan Hollingshead.
They had the ability to use
Let me check what else she
which
did.
means that they must be terminally ill, doesn't it? But
Yep.
why on earth would they attack us?
Magic gives you cancer.
She voiced my Valentine in the 3 seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay then, the first 3 seasons.
That's what happens to people when they
So
use mineral
yeah,
powder
okay,
for
that
too
makes
long.
sense. A lot of 4Kids
What?
voice actor
You mean
worked on this.
If you keep using
Makes
mineral powder,
sense.
you might end up
In
like
a
those
few
guys.
hours, the sun will rise.
So yeah, basically here's the dumb revelation drop on you. If you use too much mineral powder, you become a monster
that's
like
it.
those we just
The
defeated.
mineral powder. I knew
So
something
what you're
fishy
saying
was
is that
going
those
on.
things used to be actual
It's been
people.
bugging me for a while.
Yep.
And now I get it.
Huh? What do you get?
So now it's time to do another round table and discuss
Think
what's
for a
going
minute,
on.
Beat. Why do you think
Mineral powder is
the only thing that's not
people.
taxed?
Well,
that's
more
an
like
easy
the
one.
monsters we've been
It's
fighting are
because
people.
Count
The mineral
Waltz is
powder
doing
just what
something
turns them
nice
into
for his
monsters.
No,
Unless
dummy.
it's
You
like
can't see
Attack
things
on
for what
Titan,
they
in
are
which
'cause
case
you're
Titans
always
have to
looking through
eat
that
humans to
lens.
become human again.
Listen, try again, and this time think about it more. Isn't it strange that mineral powder is the only thing that's not being taxed?
That close up.
Yeah.
I guess. But that's okay. Because since mineral powder is so cheap, it can help lots of people.
It sounds like
Mineral
it's doing
powder
anything
does cure
but.
most illnesses, but
Yeah.
it has some
Yeah,
very
that's
serious
just
side
what Viola
effects.
said. The side effects are
Mineral powder is
way
actually
too
closer
dangerous
to a
though.
poison. It drives people mad and eventually can lead to death. You saw it for yourselves.
That's
Line.
horrible.
No shit!
Well,
Like,
grazing time is over
what
for
to-
today.
It kind of comes with the fact that,
Well, I'll stop by my place for a
again, like
while.
I said,
It's not
Polka
very
is
far
part
from
of
here
the
at all,
typical
so
one.
come on.
It's a mix of the Garnet archetype and the Ghibli sick girl archetype, and sadly, the writing doesn't do much
on.
to, make her
My
go
name is
above those
Viola.
basic
The
I'll
archetypes.
explain
guy
this
over
a
here is
bit
my
at the end of
partner,
the...
Arco.
Oh yeah, by the way. This cute animal is Arco. He's present in only 3 cutscenes in the entire game. This is one of them. Enjoy.
So mineral powder's a poison.
Okay.
I don't even know why they bother creating a pet for Viola since it's so underutilized.
Spreading it amongst the people like this. What could
So
Well,
yeah,
this
let's try reasoning a bit. Why Vulcan's Waltz,
That's what I'd like to
Vulcan
know,
Waltz
too.
sell these basically poison, turning its subjects
He cannot
into
possibly
monsters?
want to kill all of his own subjects, can he?
Like, what's left to
Who
rule then?
knows? I've heard that there are lots of dark rumors about the Count.
But if he
Count
wanted to
Dracula?
kill his own
Maybe the fact that he looks like a
There is
deranged
and faster
psychopathic
ways to go about
man-child
doing it.
is helping.
Has anyone even seen him?
Now, wait a minute.
That's the thing,
Nobody
once
doesn't
again,
know
the
about the
lack
side
of lore
effects of the mineral
establishing
powder.
means that we don't know about this. Not
Is
just
it
that,
really possible
I
that he
do
doesn't
believe
know?
the people transforming into
Well,
monsters should
mineral
have been
powder does have
foreshadowed a
its
bit
uses, you know.
back in
But
Retardando.
just because
It
it's
boggles my
useful doesn't
mind
mean
that
it should be used.
Allegretto and Beat have not even
Those
heard the
involved might
slightest
not
of people
realize what's wrong
missing
until it's
because
too
of the
late.
effect of a mineral powder, because I think like that should happen.
Unless
What do you
someone
think,
does
Shiroi?
something about this soon, there won't be anything
I don't
anyone
know
can
yet.
do to stop it.
You don't know
And
yet.
since we can see what's going on, it's up to us to let them know.
Yes, the people should know the
They
truth.
like the convenience of it so much, they don't see the danger they'll be faced with later.
That's
I see.
horrible.
People might notice that something
The
isn't
writing
right,
is a
but they
fuck
can't bring themselves to
face.
give it
Well,
up since
well,
it
to be
makes
fair,
life easier
I'd
for
say
them.
I'd say it's still less
It's true what
subtle
they
than
say.
Detroit
Like
The
becomes.
that.
longer you wait, the harder the cure.
Regardless of whether Count Waltz
okay.
knows or not, I don't see any other option than to go to Forte Castle.
So basically, let's
Once there,
continue
we may learn
the
more.
journey we were already doing, just with the
If possible, we should try to
right.
meet with the Count.
Basically, we're
himself
hunting
to
down
discuss his intentions.
clones. Get to it. Also, as for the whole
You guys are really something.
cute
She's starting to
animal
believe you'll be
thingy
able to
too.
make a
Well,
difference.
look at the bright side. At least we don't have another Mew Mew in our hands.
I suppose. Yeah.
But it's actually not what you're thinking, Shihiro. I'm not referencing Tokyo Mew Mew. I'm referencing something else.
Anyway, we
Oh,
have a new
I'll
party
explain later.
member.
Besides, I can't want some
Yay!
payback. A bunch of my poor little
Trust
goats
me,
have been
she's
killed
gonna
because
carry
of
basically the party for the rest of the gameplay. Why? Is because she's broken as shit, and developers know this. Because in the PS3 version, they tried to nerf her to no end.
Sorry, buddy, not so fast.
She's
We've
still
actually got
broken,
two
even
more coming
while
with you.
being nerfed.
Arco and I
I'll
always travel
I'll
together.
show this better when a proper gameplay segment comes around.
Yeah. Basically, Shiroi, Tales of the Abyss has this also has a talking animal who's supposed to be the comedy relief animal, and but it's annoying as all hell. I love Tales of the Abyss, but that thing needs to fucking die.
Even then, I have more sympathy for that thing than for the fucking protagonist, and that's saying a lot for me.
Well, I would argue
No,
that that's kind of intentional.
Well, that's the sorry, but yeah, Pedro, but that's the thing. Just because the game acknowledges that, like you said, doesn't make it as Ash. I think you're forgetting Luke. Less annoying than the
Oh
other.
no! Trust me, I acknowledge that as well. However, to be fair, I mean, by the time that game ends, he becomes a completely different character altogether.
Well,
so
that's
that's
the
kind
thing,
of
Pedro.
No, isn't that kind
But
of writing cheating?
Not only that, Jova, but that's the thing. Okay, he becomes a better character, but I had to endure like at least 70% of the game with him being annoying anyway. So it's the experience that's ruined for me.
Yeah,
Sure.
the ending doesn't matter if the journey is shit.
Yeah.
I don't think the journey is shit. I think the gradual development of Luke is.
That's the thing. The other characters that do not have enough impact on me. The only other one who has that much of an impact is oh god, I keep forgetting the name. The scientist with glasses.
Okay.
Oh
basically
boy, we're
one
at the
of the other
bridge.
party
I wonder
members.
what'll happen here.
Surprisingly enough, Jova, surprisingly enough, for now, nothing. The Kabaza bridge is just there for a transition and cutscene.
And an
So basically what you
musical
tell-
turn.
So basically, too, you're at where I'm. When it comes to Tales of the Abyss, you're at like what I am with Tales of Vesperia. That's kind of
I
interesting.
suppose. Again, that makes me just more curious to see Vesperia
That-
for myself.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Did you guys hear that Tales of Vesperia thing that was coming out for the Xbox One? It's also coming out to PS4 and Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, no, we knew it was.
We already
from the
knew that
start.
from the beginning. It was
Yeah,
announced as a
that's right.
multi-platform game to begin with. It's coming out literally everywhere: PC, PS4.
A couple of hours after the Microsoft conference.
So my question is it available yet?
No.
Hoping to
It-
give
it
it
was
a
an-
try.
I'll tell you more later, Jova. For now, basically, they're just telling the meaning specific of this bridge. Like, it should be just.
Objection!
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's like Sam Riegel really was prepping for that role.
Basically, it has a military purpose. Since the Returnando was attacked by pirates in the past, this was a last defense purpose. In case of defense, we would cut down the bridge, and there was a fort Fermata on the other side. Basically, the best maximum security for the Kingdom of Forte could afford back then.
P
But
joke.
we need that.
Okay, come on, Polka.
I have to pee. Hey, Jova, I have to pee.
So, is that ever going to actually serve a story purpose, or was that just a bout of humor?
No, we'll get back to this, Jova. Don't.
Let me guess. Beat's gonna have to go, so he'll go out someplace, and then that'll get him caught or something. Or
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
no.
don't give hands. No. Psh, and now that should.
Don't
And now,
show it. This is a Christian website.
and a shit ton of fan fiction and fan art becomes created.
Well, to be fair, this is basically the start of the shipping that the game does between Allegretto and Polka.
Oh yeah, that's right, everybody. Prepare yourselves because this game.
Anyway,
let's just say.
let's cut back for now to Count Waltz. Don't worry, Pedro. We'll get back on the shipping later.
I know.
Anyway, the Psychopath 44. Guess what? He works for Count Waltz.
But unfortunately, I could not find a single one that glows. I've no interest.
Oh,
in
so he
hearing
was
about
looking
your
for the
failure.
Agogo.
Yep,
Yes,
but Waltz doesn't like
From our
failure
experiments,
reports.
we've discovered that
So
many-
you hear that once again this cliche of the villain constantly reprimanding his henchmen for constant failures.
You know,
why don't you do the job yourself?
Don't worry, Jova. Sorry, Pedro. There's a payoff also at the end of this particular cutscene.
If we can get the glowing ones, even by conservative estimates, the potency will increase tenfold.
The potency
Yeah, for
of
some
what?
reason, glowing go-go's have an effect on the mineral powder.
Don't you see?
Yeah, totally. Look at that face, he's so
You know,
trustworthy.
okay. With how obviously evil he is, how interesting a story idea would it have been where he actually is legit trying to help and does know about the side effects of mineral powder, but is only doing it because apparently it at least
That's
gives
the
people
thing,
a fighting
Jova.
chance.
Japan doesn't really have this concept from the get-go.
Oh,
it's
I
more
know.
It's more an exception than a rule. Once in a while, you get a writer like Yoko Taro who tries to change things up a bit, or Ino as well.
Or heck, even Shu Takumi, and of course, Hideo Kojima.
Anyway, point is, Fugue, go back into the forest and don't show your ass here again unless you have results.
Yes.
You know...
Otherwise, you will die.
You know...
Don't you see, Johnny? This is what it takes to be infinite.
Hold on, we're about to get the payoff.
My lord, the mining operation at Mount Rock is proceeding smoothly.
Mount
Mineral
Rock?
powder
Oh,
production-
Yeah,
wait,
we
never
got
mind.
that already,
Never-
plan.
There's no need to report when things are going well.
So you don't want reports if things are bad or good. Got it.
Brilliant.
Wow, so you only just want reports so that you can reprimand somebody.
I just
I'm sorry, I can't.
He just likes telling
over
people
the
off.
waterfall.
So, did you wet yourself?
Seriously, this is Sonic Adventure 2 level of audio mixing. What
No,
the fuck
I
are you
think
doing?
this is. I think this is slightly better than the Adventure 2
Still,
mixing.
the
honestly.
audio mix is
Regard-
completely fucked up here.
Never mind that. Like, seriously, what is up with this P joke? Like,
Yeah, again, this
did
is
the
a
writers
big-
of Omega took over?
That's the thing, Pedro. Japan also has this other thing that we think this is funny. It's sadly what bogs down Drakengard 3 for me, because it is filled with this fucking joke where Mikhail, the dragon, the protagonist, needs to pee somewhere.
I would like to mention, however, that there is a way to make toilet humor work
Oh, without
if you
a
have
doubt.
if you create a proper context for it.
Well,
Yuka Watch does it fairly well in various episodes.
Well, that kinda
and
goes
I would
without-
argue Wreck-It Ralph does it as well. But
Yes, Jova?
That kind of goes without saying that, you know, like, well, toilet humor needs to be done proper. I mean, there are plenty of properties that do actually use it well. Heck, even the Master of Disguise before it ruined the joke actually managed to make a fart joke funny. It's like, well, there needs to be proper setup, build-up, and tone and
Yeah.
whatnot. Like, it's not some rarity because I've seen
Once
plenty of people
again-
do it right,
Oh, sorry.
which just makes the fact that people getting it wrong all the more annoying because there's so many cases where people get it right that you'd think people would understand how to get it right.
Once again, context means everything.
yeah,
Absolutely.
they're in
Anyway.
sorry.
We'll get into Fort Fermata properly in the next part. So see you
Alright,
for
got
that.
it. See you.
See ya.